In this program we're joined by pianist Polina Leschenko. She'll be performing Chopin's Piano Concerto No. 1 as well as the Górecki Piano Concerto. Also on the program is Mendelssohn's Octet and music by Paganini and Morricone. I'm incredibly excited to be playing the Mendelssohn Octet, which is for good reason one of the most beloved works of chamber music. For me it's just a sheer joy and elation to both perform and to listen to. I can honestly say that sort of walking off stage after playing the Mendelssohn, I've never felt such exuberance in a way. It's like, I guess, a champagne bottle or something, all these bubbles fizzing up, and it's just 30 minutes of that, like you just feel filled with so much joy by the end of it. I mean, it's difficult to believe that it was written by Mendelssohn when he was only 16. Obviously, Mendelssohn was one of the greatest child prodigies there ever was, and by that age he'd already written, I think, his 12 string symphonies. And the year after that he was to write the music for A Midsummer Night's Dream. And I guess in the Scherzo, which is possibly the most famous movement of the Octet, you can start to see some of the material that would later become known as Mendelssohn's signature style. Richard's arranging some Paganini Caprices to showcase the various qualities of the three violins in the orchestra at the moment that himself, Satu and Helena play, the Guarneri, the Stradivari and the Guadagnini. These three instruments are all amazing instruments in their own right, but have very distinctive voices, and I mean, I personally think that they suit the characters of the people who are playing them at the moment themselves. But I guess this idea of actually writing a piece to suit a violin or to suit its qualities is very intriguing. My first experience with the Chopin Piano Concerto No. 1, actually, interestingly enough, was not in its version as for full orchestra, but actually in the string quintet arrangement. And I guess my first impression of it was that it was some of the most incredibly beautiful music, some of the most beautiful lines I'd ever heard, but also a sense of slight frustration that it perhaps wasn't being realised in its to its fullest potential. And I thought that was possibly to do with the arrangement itself. But then I later played it in its orchestral version, and I found a similar sort of frustration. It didn't quite seem to be exactly the right atmosphere for the music. For instance, it's extraordinarily intimate music. It begins with this sort of heroic sounding opening, but then immediately, like the second subject of the first movement, for instance, is just some of the most poetic kind of lines, and it's all sort of accompanied by these long held notes and this kind of hushed bed of sound, which neither full orchestra nor the small string groups that I'd played it in had been able to achieve. So actually, when I found out that this was going to be arranged for string orchestra, it actually occurred to me, wow, I wonder if that's the sort of arrangement which, that's the sort of sound which has been missing.